everyone, I am Dr. Vanita. Today we will be knowing about one of the important type study of Unit 12, which is of rabbit. So, rabbit is one of the type study of mammalian class, and we will be discussing about circulatory system and excretory system, two most important systems of rabbit. As you are acquainted, circulatory system consists of heart and arteries, veins, capillaries, and this circulatory system of rabbit is a closed system, and heart being four chambered, that means an advanced circulation found in mammals. Earlier classification we have found some kind of difference in the circulatory system. So, mammalian classification of rabbit and type study rabbit, as a study, this particular class is having four chambered system comprising of heart, blood vessels. These include arteries, veins, capillaries and the blood. These constitute the circulatory system. So, the important aspects are heart or the pumping organ, and blood vessels including arteries, veins, capillaries. As you are acquainted, arteries carry pure blood and veins carry impure blood, and capillaries are fine tubular structure of fine blood vessels. So, these are important components of the blood vessels, and the next is the blood. So, these three important like heart, blood vessels and blood constitute circulatory system. Coming to the structure of heart. So, as heart we see four chambers. In the four chambers we have two auricles or the regions which are on the top, two auricles, and behind the auricles we have ventricles, two ventricles. So, these are structures where blood is coming and which is being pumped back to different organs. So, now we will be knowing more about functioning of the heart, and heart having two auricles and two ventricles, it provides efficient double circulation to separate oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is essential for the endothermic mammals. Now, what is double circulation? Double circulation means that there is constantly inflow and outflow of blood. So, on one area, on the left side of the auricles, left auricle, the blood is flowing from the lungs and then it is being pumped to the ventricles, and from the ventricles the blood is going to different parts of the body. Simultaneously, on the right side we have blood flowing from auricles and ventricles to aorta. So, like this there is inflow and outflow of blood. So, this is called as double circulation, and it is closed because there is these blood and blood vessels are connected as a closed system. And endothermic animals. Endothermic mammals means those mammals which have the same body temperature despite the temperature in the environment. So, whatever the temperature is there in the environment, if the environment is cool, like suppose 10 degrees, these animals or mammals, endothermic animals, have the temperature constant. Suppose a human being is having 36 degrees Celsius. Now, whatever the temperature is outside, the body temperature does not change. If the temperature is cool or hot, the body temperature is constant. So, this characteristic is called endothermic nature. So, a rabbit is also having endothermic characteristic of their body temperature. Coming to the circulatory system. In the circulatory system we have heart, blood vessels, valves, which are some kind of projections in the chambers, or after one chamber to another chamber there are valves present. These are some kind of small we can say doors which are present, which allow only the blood to flow in one direction, and as the blood flows from one direction, these valves get closed. So these are the characteristic aspect of the valves. So we have important components are heart, valves, blood vessels and the bottle system. We will be knowing more about each and every component of the circulatory system. Now heart consists of a conical muscular organ, and these are located in the thoracic cavity between the lungs. So in between the lungs we have the heart, protected by a double walled pericardium. So this pericardium is a structure which is characteristic present only in the heart. So this pericardium is double walled. It consists of right auricle and left auricle, and these two portions are separated by one particular division. This particular structure is called as a septa. Septa is the one which separates right to the left auricle. Now coming to the second important component of the circulatory system are the valves. The right auriculoventricular aperture is guarded by a tricuspid valve, and the left, now we know about the two areas, the right and the left, and the auricles and the ventricle. So in the right side of the heart we have the tricuspid valve, and the left side of the heart where the auricle and the ventricle region is there, this particular valve, as we have known, valves are some kind of additions in between the auricle and the ventricle, some kind of gates which are present. So this particular valve which are present on the left side is called as a bicuspid valve. Now we also have the semi-lunar valves guarding the pulmonary aorta and systematic arc to prevent the backflow. Coming to the third important component of the circulatory system is the blood vessels. Now these blood vessels consist of arteries, veins and capillaries. So arteries carry only oxygenated blood, and except pulmonary artery, and they carry the oxygenated blood away from the heart, with the aorta being the largest distributing blood to tissues. So this oxygenated blood which is coming from the lungs, and from the lungs it goes to the left auricle, then ventricle, and from the ventricle it moves on from the aorta. Aorta is one of the biggest vessels which carries the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Now coming to veins. So as the name indicates, veins carry only deoxygenated blood. Now from where does this deoxygenated blood come? Deoxygenated blood comes from the different tissues of the body, like the tissues of various organ systems, hands, legs. Deoxygenated blood is coming. Now this particular veins carry this deoxygenated blood. Now this deoxygenated blood goes to the heart. From the heart it moves on to the lungs. The third important blood vessel is the capillaries. Now coming to capillaries, these capillaries are tiny vessels where nutrient and gaseous exchange occurs. As you are well acquainted, there are a number of times a gaseous exchange occurs, like maintaining of acid-base balance in the blood. So these kind of gases exchanges, or there are gases exchange occurring in the alveoli. So this happens in the capillaries. They have tiny vessels where nutrients and gas exchange occurs. So after knowing about the different blood vessels, arteries, veins and capillaries, we move on to the next important component. This is the portal system. So what is the portal system? Portal system are the system where we are knowing about the hepatic portal system. So rabbit possesses a hepatic portal system. Hepatic portal, this means the liver, the veins in the liver or the blood vessels in the liver which are helping in digestion. So this is one of the important portal system. And the second portal system is the renal portal system. So this renal portal system consists of blood vessels, or the important blood vessels which are for filtering the blood from the hind limbs. So, we have two different portal systems, hepatic portal system related to the liver and intestine, and renal portal system related to filtering blood from the hind limbs, which are important aspect of the kidneys. So, we can see the structure of heart consists of auricles and ventricles. Auricles, in the auricles we have left auricle and right auricles, and ventricles we have the right ventricle and the left ventricle. So, like this heart having 4 chambers, and we have the tricuspid valve in the right side, and in the left side we have the bicuspid valves. So, these are some of the important structural structures of the heart. Now, functions of the heart. So, what are the important function heart plays in our body? Now, here we are referring to the body of rabbit as a case study. Now, in the heart, the left side receives the oxygenated blood, and how does it receive? Through the pulmonary vein. So, this vein is responsible for receiving the blood, and this blood is oxygenated blood, and now this oxygenated blood is pumped to all parts of the body. So, the function of the heart is to taking the oxygenated blood and to give to all parts of the body. And on the other side, the right side receives the deoxygenated blood. So, deoxygenated blood is received from the body via different veins like pre-caval and post-caval veins. And when it is received, now it goes to the lungs, so that there is oxygenation taking place. So, like that, function of the heart includes two important aspects: receiving the oxygenated blood from the left side, left auricle, ventricle, and giving this oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. On the other hand, the right side is receiving the deoxygenated blood from the body, and it is sending to the lungs. So, this kind of simultaneously flow of blood, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, which is happening in the heart, makes it this kind of circulation is termed as double circulation. So, we can see this kind of double circulation in the picture, where red color indicates deoxygenation, and blue color indicates deoxygenated blood, and red color indicates the oxygenated blood. So, double circulation is mammals is seen in this picture. Now, we will know about the circulatory paths, the important structures of the heart and the blood vessels involved in the circulatory part. What kind of circulatory path happens? The first one is the oxygenated blood returns via the pulmonary vein from the left auricle to the left ventricle to the systematic aorta and the body tissues. So, how is the circulatory path? It is coming from the left side, or the oxygenated blood is coming from the lungs, and this particular artery is called as a pulmonary vein, and then it is being received from the left auricle to the ventricle to the systematic aorta. So, this is one of the biggest tubes through which aorta is sending the blood to all parts of the body. So, this is on one hand, this is occurring, and the second circulation which is happening is on the right side. The deoxygenated blood is entering the right auricle, followed by the right ventricle, and then from the pulmonary artery it is going to the lungs, where there is a gaseous exchange. So, like this we find two different kinds of circulatory paths happening, and when we happen to see the flow chart, we can just have a look at the flow chart, and we can see that in red refers to the oxygenated blood coming from the lungs, pulmonary veins to the left atrium, left ventricle, aorta, body tissues. And from the body tissues, the deoxygenated blood is coming from the vena cava to the right atrium, right ventricle, and the pulmonary arteries, and finally to the lungs, where there is gaseous exchange and carbon dioxide is released from the capillaries and in the lungs, and then pure blood is then transferred to the pulmonary veins, and this is the flow chart having both the circulation simultaneously. Now coming to the key physiological traits, what are the traits in this particular rabbit, in this particular animal as a case study? We find high heart rate. Why is his heart rate high? Because rabbit is one of the animal having high metabolic rate, and this is reflected in the rapid high heartbeat. Having a high metabolic rate makes this particular animal having a high heartbeat. And closed circulation, we have seen the closed circulation in of the heart, closed circulation of the blood in the heart of rabbit. Now in this closed circulation, the blood never leaves the vessels, allowing high blood pressure regulation. So this closed circulation in rabbit makes the animal having high blood pressure regulation in its body. So two important physiological traits we have seen in rabbit. The first one is that there is high metabolism and there is rapid heartbeat, and the second one is that it is having closed circulation, making scope for high blood pressure regulation. Now when we come to the internal structure of heart, the heart is having two auricles separated by interauricular septum. Now similarly, the two ventricles are also separate. These two ventricles which are on the right and the left, they are also separated by a septum. This particular septum is called as interventricular septum. In the auricles it is called as interauricular septum. So like this, there is a septum which is separating the two auricles and the two ventricles. The two auricles are communicated with the ventricles by opening. So this particular opening is called as auriculoventricular aperture. Now we know about the structures, two auricles and two ventricles. As the auricle is moving to the ventricles, there is an opening. So this opening is called as auriculoventricular opening, and there is also a valve. On the left side there is a bicuspid valve, in the right side there is a tricuspid valve. Now there are two precaval and one postcaval opening into the right auricle. So the name of the this particular blood vessel which are opening into the right auricle is called as the precavals and the postcaval. So these precavals are two in number and there is one postcaval. The opening of the posterior vena cava is guarded by a membranous fold. Now how does the heart function? Now working of the heart will understand by knowing about this kind of contractions and relaxation. The heart of a rabbit exhibit rhythmic contraction and relaxation. As we are acquainted about the lub-dub sound which is happening in the when the contraction and relaxation sound. So this contraction as a heart, the heartbeat is. So this contraction is called as a systole, whereas the relaxation is called as a diastole. And this systole and diastole together is referred as a heartbeat, which is often referred as a lub-dub sound. So this is one of the important aspect of the heart, the systole and the diastole. Now the next important aspect is the heartbeat, which is initiated by a special node of the muscular tissue called as a sinusoauricular node, also called as the SA node. Now this particular node is present on the inner wall of the right auricle. So this continuous beating of the heart is initiated by a special node of muscle called the sinusoauricular node. Now this sinusoauricular node, it is acting like a pacemaker and it is generating power in the form of electric impulses. The functioning of the heart is due to the pacemaker, which is the sinusoauricular node. So this particular sinusoauricular node, it is creating some kind of power in the form of impulses, electric impulses, because of which the heart is continuously beating. So we can see the structure of the dorsal view of the heart and the ventral view of the heart. Now coming to the excretory system, after knowing about the circulatory system and how important the structure of the heart is in one of the advanced class, which is the mammals, as they have studied in the type study of rabbit. We move on to the second important system, which is the excretory system of rabbit. So as we see here, the excretory system of rabbit is highly efficient metanephric system. So this metanephric system is designed for removal of urea, and it consists of a pair of reddish brown bean shaped kidneys and then having ureters, the two tubular structures which are ureters, and a muscular urinary bladder, and followed by urinogenital canal. So these are the important structures of the excretory system. Now where is this present? The location of this excretory system in the body is present on the dorsal body wall. As we know, the dorsal and the ventral side. In the dorsal body wall, the right kidney is slightly cranial to the left. We find the right one slightly cranial present to the left. So the important components of excretory system is the kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, and the urinogenital tract. Coming to the kidneys, as we are acquainted at the bean shaped kidneys. So these kidneys are present in the lumbar region. The right kidney is usually found higher between the T3 and the L2 vertebrates, and the left kidney is little bit lower between the L2 and L4 vertebrae. So these kidneys are placed little bit not equally placed, but the right kidney is placed little higher and left kidney is placed little lower. So we can see the structure of two kidneys followed by ureter, urinary bladder, and then the urinogenital tract. Now coming to the parts of kidneys, each kidney is having an outer layer which is the cortex. After the outer layer, we have the inner layer. This particular inner layers are called as a medulla. And then we have funnel shaped structures. Now these funnel shaped structures are called as a renal pelvis. So these are three different parts of the kidney, having the outer cortex, inner medulla, followed by a renal pelvis. Now coming to the smallest unit of kidney. The smallest unit of kidney is the nephron. And the functional unit of kidney is nephron. There are about 1,70,000 to 2,50,000 nephrons in each kidney, and these nephrons filter blood, and they have Malpighian bodies located in the cortex. These kind of Malpighian bodies are present in the cortex. Now we will know about the structure of nephron. The nephron has Bowman's capsule followed by loops of Henle. Now what is the function of Bowman's capsule? Bowman's capsule is a cup-shaped double-walled epithelial sac. So as we know, Bowman's capsule is a sac-like structure, and in the sac there are number of capillaries. So this is called as glomerulus, and they function for filtration of the blood, forming the urine. It serves as the primary site for blood filtration. Now this Bowman's capsule is the first site where the blood is getting filtered and the plasma filtrate. So what is the filtrate present? The plasma filtrate. This filtrate is having water, waste, and solutes. So these filtrate from the capillaries, they form the urine, which then moves to the proximal convoluted tubule. So as we are acquainted, we have Bowman's capsule and we have the loop of Henle. So in the Bowman's capsule, there are a number of glomerulus or the capillaries present where the blood is filtered, and the filtrate having the waste and other things are then removed through the loop of Henle to the proximal convoluted tubule, where the urine is passed, where the urine is moved on. Okay. So now we will know about the Bowman's capsule and important parts. We have efferent arteriole, efferent arteriole, where it is further having fine mesh like capillaries or the glomerulus, where there is actual filtration taking place, and the filtrate comes out from the Bowman's capsule to the loop of Henle. Now we will be knowing more about loop of Henle and what are the important function happening in the loop of Henle. The loop of Henle, also called as a nephron loop, is a U-shaped portion of the kidney, and it is a tubule that links the proximal and the distal convoluted tubules. So proximal is the starting portion of the tubule which comes from the Bowman's capsule. This is a proximal tubule, and after the proximal tubule we have the Henle's loop, and after the loop we have the distal convoluted tubule. Now, what is the purpose of this loop? Why do we have this particular loop in excretion? So, this Henle's loop helps in conservation of water, and it concentrates urine, and it generates a high concentration gradient in the medulla. How does it generate that kind of high concentration? It is through the counter current multiplier system. And thus, what does it do? It reabsorbs water. Why is water important for the animal? Because water is one of the important aspect in the blood and various tissues. So this loop of Henle helps to reabsorb this water and also reabsorb sodium chloride, as it is helping to maintain the acid base balance, and urea to produce concentrated urine. So like this is one of the important feature of Henle's loop, where it allows for water reabsorption, also the absorption of sodium chloride NaCl, and the absorption of, and it produces the concentrated urine. So we can see the structure of Henle's loop, where we have the Kappa-Bowman's capsule, we have Henle's loop followed by the collecting duct. Now we move on to the second important structure of the excretory system, which is the ureter. Now ureter is a tubular structure which starts from the kidneys, and it joins to the urinary bladder. Its thin wall, it's narrow, and cylindrical tubes are present in the ureter. Now what does it do? It transports urine from the renal pelvis to the urinary bladder. So after knowing the second important structure of the excretory system, we move on to the third important structure, which is the urinary bladder. Now urinary bladder, as the name indicates, it's a bladder, it's just storing organ. It's a median, it's a pear-shaped structure, and it's a thin wall, it's a muscular sac. Muscular sense, it is having the capability to stretch, and it stores urine. It is a bladder which is only storing organ. Now the last important component of the excretory system is the urethra or urinogenital canal. Now we, in the mammals, we have the organ which is just passing the urine. So this particular urethra or the urinogenital canal is a duct that transports urine out of the bladder and body. So it is called as a urinogenital canal because this is a common canal for excretion of urine, as well as the reproductive area, as well as the reproductive organ. This is a common area. So it is called as a urinogenital canal. Now we'll know about the excretory process. What are the excretory process which is happening in rabbit? Now one of the important process which is happening in excretion is filtration. So blood is getting filtered in the kidneys. Now by the process of filtration, it is producing urine, and this urine is produced through ultrafiltration. That means the filtration which is occurring in the glomerulus, in the fine capillary. So this is ultrafiltration. And selective reabsorption. Where is a reabsorption taking place? This reabsorption is taking place in the loop of Henle, where water, sodium chloride is again reabsorbed, and then tubular secretion, and through the tubes it is just secreted and expelled through the collecting duct. So this is the important filtration occurring in the excretion. Now we will be knowing about urine flow. The urine is passed from the kidneys to the ureter to the urinary bladder, And about the storage and micturition, the urine is stored in the bladder and released through the urinogenital canal. So this is also one of the important process. So we have three important aspects found in this process, which is filtration, urine flow and the storage. After the storage, it is passed through the urinogenital canal. So as we know, the important components of excretory system we have seen here is the kidneys, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra through the urinogenital tract. Now when we see about the circulatory system, we have seen about the importance of chambers of heart for double circulation and closed circulation. So this aspect of kidney is one of the fundamental system where advanced features of double circulation is seen, and this makes these systems and advanced systems in the mammalian class in rabbit. So by this I would like to conclude, and thank you one and all.